Hi everybody, welcome to Catherine Sews. I'm here at my friend Judi's house and I was just in her sewing room making my last video, so check that one out. But I was commenting on how beautiful her embroidery kit is. It's just so pretty. It's got a million colors and when I commented, Judi said,
I don't know how to embroider.
So she's got the most beautiful embroidery kit ever and doesn't know how to embroider. So I'm going to quickly show Judi 5 sort of basic plain stitches that are easy, and then, she doesn't even know this yet, we're going to turn those into 2 color stitches. We're going to add a second color into each of those stitches. Ready? Okay. It's so hard to choose a color, they're so beautiful. Well, look how this comes. It comes like in these strips. You're just going to take a little bit more than an arm's length of thread. And embroidery thread comes in strands of 6. We want to work in 3 and 3. So just pull yours apart, and you just need a friend to put their finger in the middle. Otherwise it gets all tangled up. I don't know why it's so much better to have a friend to help you.
So embroidering is always a team sport.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, and then you want to be nice and neat with the other 3. So I usually wrap them back around the skein or this beautiful strip. Your embroidery kit can turn into a dump yard so easily. So a dump yard, is that?
Junkyard?
Junkyard, a junkyard. So I have to say I insulted Judi's needles. I didn't love them. I'll put a picture here of the needles that I like. But what you want is like not a huge needle, but you want a big eye. Okay, now these are awesome little tools. So you stick the threader into the eye of the needle. You get that in. That.
And you kind of just pull it.
Yeah,
Oh,
then you pull.
Totally worked.
Yay! Oh. Okay. And now fine embroiderers, they don't tie a knot, but I do. Wrap it around your finger. Put the end through twice, not just once. You want a big, fat, healthy knot. And we're gonna start with the simplest stitch, the running stitch. And that you can do beautiful projects with just a running stitch, but then we're gonna swap threads and I'm gonna show you how to add a second color. Okay, so you can go in and out, and you want the stitches to be about the same size. And then you also want the spaces in between to be about the same size. So be a little patient. Now you can do, like maybe if you want, you could do 2 stitches, but I wouldn't do too many, right? So that's running stitch. I've seen beautiful projects done with just a simple running stitch. It can look really like clean and modern. I'm gonna let Judi do a bit of her running stitch, and then we're gonna switch threads so that we can add a second color in there. But you don't need to bring it out the back. You can just still do your in and out. See what I mean about bringing out the back? Then finding your way into the front is trickier, right? Yeah. So
Look how perfect yours is. Look at my spacing. It's just terrible.
Beautiful. Okay. So now we're both going to just cut our threads, and then we're going to swap threads and tie a new knot. So we don't have to take it off the needle, which is nice. Okay, so with the second color now, there's 2 different ways I can add color to a running stitch. And I'm going to do the whip stitch first. So I'm going to go down and down. I don't want to split that thread. My pink thread wasn't quite even on the needle, and so it's a little funny. So I'm just going down into each stitch. Oh, that's crazy. So easy though, right? And it looks great. Yeah, and it's just so pretty.
That's called whip.
This is the whip stitch. Yeah, the whip is going.
Like whipped cream.
Yeah, like whipped cream.
Or be good, or I'll whip you later.
Yes, maybe like that. So the pink is the running stitch.
So
The orange is whipped around it. Isn't that nice?
Really pretty.
Okay, now Judi's gonna do hers. So you'll start with your needle underneath.
In the same spot?
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, and now instead of going down into each stitch, you're gonna go down into the first stitch and then up into the next, and then down and up.
Like,
no, you're not going through the fabric at all anymore.
oh.
Right, so you'll just stick your needle under that stitch, under the thread. Yeah, you got it. Right down there. Pull that cut through, and then instead of going down into the next, which is what I did, you're gonna come up into the next.
Is this?
Yeah, that's it. And just that change of direction, it makes it like an entirely different stitch. You'll see after you do a few, it's gonna look completely different from mine.
Oh, that's good.
And if you don't pull it tight, it gives it more of a curvy kind of look. Yeah, don't pull your thread too tight. Let it kind of curve. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it sort of snakes its way through.
So maybe it's called a snake.
Okay, so that's the over snake stitch compared to the whip. Totally different look, right?
Mm-hmm.
But almost exactly the same technique.
Very
Okay.
pretty.
Now we're gonna do couching.
What?
So for couching, we're just gonna lay one thread. It's already in place, it just lays there. And then we're gonna take a second needle. So now with this orange one just laying there, I'm gonna come up with the pink and do a tiny little stitch over. Basically, I'm going back into where I came out. And then an equal spacing is important. And it doesn't have to be straight, obviously. You could shape this into any shape you want. You get the idea?
Yeah. That's so cool.
It's so fast. So you can just, basically couching is you're just wrapping one thread, holding one thread down with another. So that's nice and easy. And again, it's a completely different look from the other two that we've done. So 3 different stitches, all with 3 very different looks. I'm going to show you now chain stitch. For the chain stitch, I'm just bringing my thread around in this loop, right? I'm making a loop with the pink. Putting my needle back in where it came out and going 1 stitch length. You have to make sure your thread is coming out in that loop so that it holds it, and don't pull your thread too tight. Yeah. Needle back in where it came out. Try to be like the same lengthen your stitches. And again, this one's nice for, this is how I did the mouth on the little baby sock monkey a couple videos ago. If you make a mistake and your needle is not inside the loop, then it all pulls out.
Oh,
yeah.
It like comes apart?
Yeah, and then you're sad. Yeah. So you'll have to be in that loop. I'll just do a couple more and then I'll show you how to add in a second color. Now, none of these, you don't have to do the second color, right? You can just have them all one color. But since I'm showing you, I'm going to show you how to jazz it up a bit. So then to finish, when you are done, now you have to hold it down, just like couching, right? I'm going to the outside of the loop now to hold it down.
Right.
Now, if we wanted to add in a second color, I'm going to do what's called a back stitch in here. And a back stitch is really a handy stitch for regular hand sewing. It's really nice and strong. I'm coming out in the second chain, going back into the first, coming out in the third, right?
Oh yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So it kind of fills in the chain with that second color. So always going back and coming out ahead of where your thread's coming out. The back stitch is how I sewed the monkeys together.
Okay. And that's where I'll learn the French knot.
Oh yeah, let's do a French knot right here then. Okay. So French knot, here we go. Okay, so there's the chain with the back stitch to it.
Right.
And again, either one of those stitches could be on its own. You don't have to do them together,
Right.
It's just so pretty, right?
Right.
Okay, French knot. You bring your needle out where you want the knot to sit and go in before the thread and come out after the thread, right?
Okay.
Don't pull your needle all the way through, you're just gonna let it hang out there for a bit. And we're gonna take this thread and wrap it around the pointed end 1, 2, 3, 4 times, okay? Now pull the wrap down and wiggle the needle through. Push that all down.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then back into the same spot. Do that again. You can do it smaller if you want. You don't have to have like a big stitch in there. And then 1, 2, and you could just do, I think the fine embroiderers just do 3.
Okay.
I do 4, just so, I don't know, makes my effort more worthwhile, it's more visible. Wiggle your needle through, hold all that wrap down, and then put your needle back in to finish that off.
Oh, cool.
Nice, eh? So that was the nostrils on the monkey.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So there we've got 4 different stitches plus this 5 different stitches that are all 2 color.
Wonderful.
You know what? Here's a bonus one. Because we did the chain. This is very similar to a chain stitch. Instead of putting my needle in the same spot though, I'm going to come over and down. And come out there. I don't remember what this is called.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a variation of the chain, right?
Oh, that you might do that for like a branch or leaves or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's so pretty.
It's fun, right?
Yeah, I like that.
Like over and down a bit. But then again, still coming out
In the
inside.
middle.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you'll have to finish that off by going down.
Yep, exactly. So like a couching stitch over it, hold it down.
Cool.
Fun.
Yeah, super cool. I like that. That's really pretty.
Yay. Okay. So there you go. We got 5 different embroidery stitches that all have 2 colors, or most of them have, 3 of them have 2 colors. And Judi, thanks for being my student today. Good work.